Welcome back to District. Bud Light Hog Talk rolls on here. I lied. Our second guest is actually Ted Dent, head coach of the IceHogs. Wouldn't be the first time I was wrong. Maybe the second or third. Well, since we started this interview anyways.
Just a couple, yeah.
Nice round of applause for Ted Dent, head coach of your IceHogs. Tell you what, great bounce back win yesterday. You look at the weekend and you always want to start the weekend off on the right foot, which the team did. A little dramatic fashion, which isn't anything new for this team this year. But then Saturday night was one of those proverbial eggs that was laid on the ice of the BMO, and not a bad game by any stretch by the hockey club. Just couldn't finish some chances, got shut out 4-0. But then you come back on a game Sunday that not a must-win, but a game that you really wanted to have. You guys got it, so it was another successful weekend for the IceHogs.
Yeah, I mean, at this point of the season, we're looking for. On 3 games in 3 days, we're looking for 4 points for sure, minimum, to keep ourselves in the race and try and make a push. So it was nice to get the 4 points and come back Sunday with a good effort yesterday against Chicago.
What is it with this hockey team? It seems like everybody wants to have a little bit of hand of something in against the Rockford IceHogs, and you look at yesterday. Kind of joked about it last night a little bit and jokingly tongue-in-cheek in a blog post today. The team has the hat trick for bench fights. They had guys coming off the bench brawl, the bench clearing brawl, and now a bench brawl. And it just seems like everybody, for whatever reason, has a little bit of an edge when they play the IceHogs. Is it the common denominator? Is it the hockey team? I mean, is it just because the style of play that your hockey team plays, or what is it that just kind of attracts some of these altercations?
Well, I wouldn't call yesterday a bench brawl. It was more of
it was on the bench.
Yeah, it was just an isolated little incident. I think everyone was making it a bigger deal than it is. Yeah. I mean, what we're concerned about yesterday was how we played the hockey game, and we walked out of there with 2 points, and that's what we went there for.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was a big 2 points, and one of those games, and it's cliche, yeah, but you have to play this time of year an entire 60 minutes, and yesterday was no different. I asked you this on the bus, and I'll ask you again because of the situation on the show. I'm still puzzled why Jeremy Morin wasn't awarded a goal there at the end of the game. Basically, on a breakaway with an empty net, he got pulled down. I mean, bottom line is, if that gets called a goal, none of this happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We didn't get an explanation from Sean Davis, the referee, but we got a power play out of it, and with however many seconds was in the game left, I was happy with a power play, and then we just run the clock down and take our 2 points. Yep. So, right now we're just concerned with playing good hockey and trying to get at least a point or 2 every game, and we succeeded in doing that yesterday, and now we move on to Abbotsford this weekend. Yeah,
2 big games against Abbotsford here this week, and then from here on out, everybody except Peoria, and they have pulled themselves back into the playoff picture with 2 wins over the weekend. But everybody else, with the exception of the Rivermen, are right there with the IceHogs for one of the final 3 or 4 playoff spots. So as a coach, do you change the way that you approach a game at all as the stakes get higher here in the regular season?
Well, I mean, we made a conscious effort probably 13, 14 games ago. We had a meeting and explained to the guys that if we don't pick it up here in the next 3 weeks, that our chances of making the playoffs would have been over. And I think our guys took it to heart, and we talked about the standings, and we looked at them as a group. And for the most part, the last 13, 15 games, we've been really good, and we've gotten a lot of points, and we've put ourselves right back in the race. So every game is an intense, emotional game right now for our team, and we're playing, I think, at the highest level we've played all year, and every game's a playoff game.
Now, do the losses illustrate that? You look at the last couple of losses on Saturday. I felt the IceHogs controlled the game through the first 40 minutes of hockey. Definitely outchanced Peoria in that game, but lost. Last Sunday in Chicago, I mean, that game was about as dominating of a game that you're going to see from a team that loses. It was a 3-2 loss, and we could sit here and argue and complain that it should have been a tied hockey game at the end, but it is what it is. But that was a game coming off of a flight and lack of sleep, and your club still controlled that game start to finish for the most part, with a couple of maybe small miscues in there. And I guess my point is, you look at the wins, yeah, but also during the losses, it's like the team is still controlling the hockey games for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you look at our numbers and our shots, our chances for and against. we've outshot every team we've played, probably 9 out of the last 10 games. And it's one thing, that we need to get better at a little bit. And, I talked to the goalies about it yesterday, is we need solid goaltending every single game from here on out to give us a chance to win. Just like McKenna did for Peoria on Saturday, we have to have a couple of those efforts, and we did yesterday from Carlson, and we need to continue to get that here on out.
How hard is it right now balancing Carter Hart and Henrik Karlsson? I mean, two guys at this level are number one goalies, and guys that are both on the cusp of being in the NHL. I mean, it's a good problem to have from the standpoint of having guys like that, but at the same time, I'm sure it makes your job a lot more difficult, on a game-by-game basis.
Well, we sort of rotated back and forth here the last, 8 to 10 games since Carly came back from his stint in Chicago. But from here on out, 15 games left or whatever it is, whoever's hot's going to play, and that's what I explained to them yesterday. And whoever's going good and whoever's got the hot hand, that guy's going to run with the ball until we have a bad outing, and then we'll try the other guy. So we have confidence in both goaltenders right now, and it's just a matter of which one's going to step up and be the lead guy.
Rockford has 66 points, tied for ninth with both Milwaukee and Oklahoma City. The sixth place team, Rochester, has 68 points. That's 2 points separating 6 teams right now in this conference. It never changes. It's been like this all 6 years we've been in the American Hockey League, so it doesn't matter. It's not a surprise, but at the same time, it's always one of those things where you look at the standings and it's going to come down to the final week, maybe possibly even the final game or two.
Yeah, it's the same thing every year. We went through it last year as well, and it's one of the things that our young guys have to understand is the games, game 30 to 50 right in the middle of the season, they're just as important as the games are right now. And, through the middle of the season at times this year, we dropped a few games that we should have had back for sure, and we should have won. And, the difference of 2 or 3 wins right there is huge. And unfortunately, we're still chasing here, and our guys can hopefully learn from it moving forward into next year for the guys that will be returning.
Ted Dent is our guest here. Bud Light Hog Talk out here at District Bar and Grill, chatting a little IceHogs hockey as the Hogs are in the thick of a playoff push here in the American Hockey League's Western Conference. And I talked to Joe Lavin about this a few moments ago, the depth on this hockey team. And, it was funny because in the back of my mind, I was thinking and hoping the NHL lockout would come to an end. And I made the comment to a few people that I felt even after the lockout ended, or when it ends, I felt the IceHogs would still have tremendous depth. And that's exactly what has happened. This is a very deep hockey team, and, it's got to make your job a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we have a really good group right now. They're a real tight-knit group, and they're committed to what we're doing and mentally engaged into trying to make the playoffs. But in saying that, we picked up a bunch of players after the lockout that have made a huge difference on our hockey team.
Sure.
Between signing guys and then also some call-ups from the East Coast League. And without those 5 or 6 guys, we're not sitting where we're at right now. They've made a huge difference on our hockey team, and have become part of the group real quick.
So you're looking forward to the weekend here. 2 games out in Abbotsford, and you look at a trip like this. Abbotsford had a hard time the first couple of years in the American Hockey League winning on home ice. I think they felt the opposite. I remember the coach making a comment. I think it was their second year, or maybe it was their third year. Jim Playfair made the comment, we need to make this a harder place for teams to play. And last year they corrected that, and this year I haven't, to be honest, looked at their home record. But talk about a trip like that when you're kind of going out there. Out east, they got St. John's out on the rock there. In the Western Conference, it's Abbotsford that's kind of out on the island out in British Columbia.
Yeah, it's a long trip out there for sure. The 3-hour flight or what have you. But it's 2 games in a row, and it's unique in the sense that you can make adjustments during the game. And after the first game, you can watch video, and you're playing the same team the next day. So it's sort of like a mini playoff series, and you can make a few adjustments. And we've been successful on these 2-game trips. We went to Charlotte this year. We went to Lake Erie and had success in both places there, and 2 good hockey teams at the time for sure. So it's a huge weekend for us. Abbotsford's right there with us, and we just have to try our best and come out with 3 or 4 points.
And you talk about some of the guys that were added to the roster. Byron Fraze got called up here this past week. I thought he had 3 great games for your hockey team.
Yeah, he skated well, no doubt. I was happy with his play. He's had a long year in the East Coast League. He had a wrist injury as well, had surgery, and he's skating better and has a little more confidence. So hopefully he can get involved in the mix here and help us down the stretch.
After the game back on January the 19th, you had stressed to me and to the hockey team, how things were going to change, things were going to get tighter, going to clean up, whatever, and they have. This obviously things like yesterday are going to happen, but how much has the team kind of tightening things up from a discipline standpoint helped turn things back around for the IceHogs?
Well, it was huge at that point in the season. We were taking a lot of undisciplined penalties. It wasn't just the fights and that stuff. It was the minor penalties, putting the other team on power plays. And, it was killing us. You can't take 6, 7, 8, 9 minors a game and expect to win hockey games in this league. And we made a conscious effort as a group to minimize those penalties. And, it was really my job to crack down and hold these guys accountable for their actions, which we did. And some guys, lost some ice time, were benched for periods at a time. And I think after we went through that process for a week or two, then everyone realized that we were serious about it as a coaching staff, and it's got better since then.
That's the ultimate carrot right there, isn't it? The ice time.
Yeah, the ice time, everyone wants to play, and that's really the only thing we have as coaches is their ice time. And when you take it away, they don't get they're not too happy about it, and that's what happened. As well as in practice, we had some hard practices. We had some bag skates for certain guys, and singled some guys out as well. So I think that made a difference too.
You look at a guy like a Brad Mills or a Kendall McCardle, guys that are vets or just real close to being veteran guys. You bring them in mid-season. Is that exactly what this team kind of needed? A guy like Brad Mills to come in and provide some of that quiet leadership. I mean, he's not a very vocal guy from what I see. I don't know what he's like on the bench or on the ice, but he definitely comes across as being a pretty solid leader.
Yeah, no doubt. He plays hard every night. He's a very mature kid. He plays both ends of the rink. He's on the power play there. He's also a huge face-off guy for us on the penalty kill. And he's very professional in his approach every day. So the addition of him as well as McCardle and Svensson coming back from injury, guys like that, along with our core nucleus group, of Mo and Hazy and Saintsy and Peary, and put that all together, and we've got a pretty good formula here. Speaking
of Jeremy Moore, and he'll be on here in a couple of moments, kind of talk about his development. I mean, one of the awards that is handed out at the end of the year is the most improved award. And in my eyes, he's the guy. And I don't know, I don't think anybody should ever take that as a crack. But look at where he's come from and where he's at right now. I mean, right now, you look at players that we play against. I mean, Jeremy Moore is a guy that definitely stands out each and every night.
Yeah, he's been on a real hot stretch here the last 25 games, playing really good hockey. Shooting the puck, which is his game, very opportunistic, and playing with a lot of energy and passion right now. So it's huge for our hockey team, and he's been a big part of a lot of these wins recently.
In 25 games, that's not just a hot stretch. I mean, that's actually figuring out consistency. Not that every game is going to be perfect by any hockey player. I mean, Jonathan Taves has off nights up in Chicago, but I think right there by you just saying 25 games. That right there tells me that there has been another step taken in the development process.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year was a tough start for Jeremy. He's coming off the concussion the year before and just trying to find his way. And this year, he came in good shape, started off on a good foot, and then, worked through some bumps and bumps in the road, early in the year, and then found his stride. And anytime you can get, what does he have now, 25 goals or whatever, anytime you score 25 goals, it doesn't matter what league you're in. I mean, that's a lot of goals, and that's a great accomplishment.
We're going to need that depth this week in Abbotsford. They've had a lot of guys in and out. They've been hit as hard as anybody in the AHL by the NHL's labor dispute getting settled, but they still got the goaltending, they still got the defense. So you're going to need the offense here this weekend.
Yeah, they're a well-coached team. They're very defensive, and they're very detailed in their approach. We don't play them a whole lot, but we had them here at home a while ago, and they got Barry Brust as usually their go-to guy in net, and a little unorthodox, but he gets the job done, and he has really good numbers. So we just have to pump as much rubber at him as possible and keep playing a good team game.
They got a guy, Chris Kalanos, and when someone mentions the word slippery, he's one of the first guys that pops into my head. He's a real shifty guy, and he has scored some pretty nice goals against the IceHogs over the years in some tight spaces. He's a hard guy to contain, isn't he?
Yeah, no doubt. He's very opportunistic. He's got a great shot, and he's similar to Mo. I mean, you get the puck on his stick, it's on and off his stick real quick, and he can shoot from any angle. Mm-hmm. I think he might have even scored from the goal line against us a few games ago here, short side, top shelf. So he's a natural goal scorer, and someone we'll have to keep an eye on.
All right, Teddy. Well, thanks for the time here tonight, and good luck here this weekend out in British Columbia.
Thanks, Mike. No problem.
All right, that's Ted Dent, head coach of your IceHogs. We have one final timeout to take. When we come back, Jeremy Moore will be our guest. It's Bud Light Hog Talk here at District Bar and Grill on Antenna TV 23-2.